Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTube preppers prepping outside the box. I'm Josh, and we are going to just jump straight into it. And it's the importance of decompression. Like I talked about earlier this morning in the GOAT, we're going to go over this. And what I think most people, or I'm assuming most people consider decompression, is pushing out negative energy, right, out of your life. It's pushing out something that has been a hardship on your week or whatever it is. The problems and everything that you've built up, you're decompressing, you're pushing it out, right? Easy enough. But almost every single person you know is going to decompress in a different way. Something's going to be different. While you might reset your mind out of all the chaos of your life for the week through being alone, reading a book, going to the gym by yourself and exercising or running, they might literally, all they need to do is have a phone call or a conversation with a friend to decompress. There's a numerous amount of ways. I guarantee talking to your friends and family, you'll figure that out. But anyways, understanding the differences now is going to help you with your team, your group, and all that, and an SHTF and way down the line. And I like to mention way down the line, and that's kind of what we're going to get at in this. But right now, most of the issues that we deal with, I would say, are easy complications, right? Considering we are not, and I'm not saying that what you deal with is just easy and it's not hard. I'm not considering your guys' life problems easy. I'm just saying right now, we're not in a zombie apocalypse, right? We're not in a no grid, a grid down freaking SHTF. We're not dealing with some complete combat chaos right now, some crisis, right? So, lots of military, and I want to get into this part, lots of military across the world. They'll sit there and they have some fashion, some form of decompression. They've already established their plan for decompression for their units, right? And whether that be kind of like ours, they do warrior transition briefs and stuff. It's talking about going back home and all that kind of stuff. Or if you have the thing called a third location, which is it's neither an operational theater and it's neither home. It's that somewhere in between place where you have like 48 to 72 hours and you guys sit there and just reminisce and drink some beer and rest and laugh and cry and all that stuff, right? So there's that decompression period that even units, understanding that when you come back from a combat deployment, you have to have a period of time where you break yourself down. You sit there and get rid of some of that emotional stresses that you've been dealing with, right? So the idea is to adapt to a home life gradually. That's the way that they're talking about it. It's resting out of the red. So I talked about the red before when you're going in your colors and everything. And red is always alert. You're always ready to go and you're just amped up. And when you're on combat, I know there's a lot of downtime and things like that, but you might have done some things, and every single person deals with things differently, but you might have done some things and you're dealing with it, you're on edge, you have to have that time where you're not on edge to rest, right? To get a full night's sleep. It's a time for you guys to share what happened, the guys that you dealt with, and the ladies that were with you that you dealt with all these hardships, you can reminisce about it, and it's a time for you guys to cry and laugh and just be mad at each other, fight, whatever it is. It's a time to literally get all that built up emotion that could be damaging later on if you don't deal with out, right? So keep this in mind. When you're years into an SHTF, and that's what I wanted to go over. It's really important to understand now, but years down the road in SHTF, right? You will most likely at some point, maybe like a supply run or something that you're doing with your team or something, you're gonna have to do something that's psychologically, physically, or just emotionally hard, right? And you're going to have to deal with it. It's going to come up. It's going to happen if we went into a terrible SHTF. I like to plan like that, right? You're dealing for those problems. But even events now, everyone's not the same. They're not going to treat the same event. Everyone's going to be a little different. And so you and your, say, 10 friends, right? Or your 9 friends, you and your 9 friends, all 10 of you, are going to go through event A. And maybe all 10 of you are going to treat that and look at it differently, so you'll decompress a little bit differently, right? And possibly consider when you guys are going, say, on that supply run and you have to deal with that emotional, whatever you had to do, that psychological, whatever you had to do, go back and isolate yourselves. Go back to your camp, your group, whatever it is, where you are safer, right, than being out and about. Go back there and isolate yourselves and just decompress together. Maybe share a drink if that was possible. Like I was saying before, share what's happened, rest, get that full night's rest, all that kind of stuff, but decompress together and get out all that stuff, that laugh, that cry, that be mad, all that stuff, but consider isolating yourselves. And like I said before, learn now what your team, your group, your MAG members, what do they do now for decompression? Do they like to go shooting? Do they like to go throw the ball around? Do they want to read a book? Do they just want to be left alone? Figure out what they want now. Figure out how they act now, and it's probably going to help you down the line when you're dealing with hardships like this. So when you're taking out the guy that just really loves throwing the ball around to decompress, and you guys are out there in an SHTF and you're doing this terrible stuff, when you get back, hey bro, let's go talk about it and throw a ball around, right? You're doing that bond, you're getting rid of that, and you're getting rid of that, you're pushing out that negativity like we're talking about, right? So the importance of this is being able to not build up all that negative emotion and turmoil, all the psychological things that you're dealing with, and getting rid of them so you can gradually return back to your group, to your team, right? So you guys don't go out and do some terrible stuff if you had to and then come back and just bam, you're right back into it and you're trying to be normal. When things happen, like I said, everyone deals with them differently, but it might not, it might do something to you if you don't deal with it, right? So anyways, please, comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. It is a very important subject, I believe. It's not huge in prepping, but it is psychologically, it is a mental preparedness thing that you guys need to know. It's a tool in your toolbox. And like I said, know now what your guys need. Know now what your guys do, your ladies do right now for decompression. It'll help you back down the line in the future if something really does go bad. Hopefully it doesn't, right? Everyone wants to go back to rainbows and sunshine. Anyways, until next time, it's Prepping Outside the Box. I'm Josh, and I'll see you then.